All right, guys, another episode of the Weighing In Podcast. I'm joined by the man, Darren Till. Brother, you got a big fight coming up, man. September
Yeah.
20, what is it? September 26th, BKFC. Big time fight, Yoel Romero. Are you crazy? Are you crazy, man? You said
Yeah.
yourself people would be crazy to fight this man. Are you crazy?
Crazy or scared, one or the other. Yeah, I think a lot of people said like, obviously because Yoel's 49 now. I know he's becoming of age a little bit, but I like to say with Yoel, I just don't think it matters with his age. We've all seen him throughout the years. He's made of granite. His shape doesn't change. He doesn't change. He doesn't like take much damage and stuff like that. So I think Yoel's a dangerous fight whether he's 49 or 29. In my eyes, that's how I see it.
Yeah, so he fought my teammate Luke Rockhold. You fought my teammate Luke Rockhold.
Yeah,
Luke told me the same thing that Robert Whitaker had said. Every time we kicked his thigh, it felt like I was kicking a post. But like it hurt so bad. It hurt me more than it hurt him. And he didn't care.
yeah,
He just leaned into it and took the shot.
yeah.
And we've heard that. And then I saw him fight Alex Polizzi in Bellator. He broke Alex Polizzi's jaw in 2 places. That's why I go back to my question. Are you fucking crazy?
I'm crazy fighting him in fairness, like I am.
You
But
know?
I feel like I've had everyone going for years. When I said I didn't want to fight him in MMA, I was scared. But like, for me, I'm a fighter's fighter. I've always been game to fight anyone. I think if you're a real fighter deep down, you'll fight anyone. No matter the conditions, no matter the art, martial or whatever, boxing, MMA, especially bare knuckle now, which I know it's going to be extremely tough. But I accept the challenge. I invite the challenge. It's why I'm working so hard, to be the guy. I want to be the guy to knock him out in there. And I'm not going to bring his age into it. I think knocking Yoel out, even at this age, I think it would be a massive feat. So, even though it's scary territory, he's fighting he's got knockout power. He's made us something different from humans. I think he's like a Cuban experiment, if I'm honest. But yeah,
But
I'm right up for it.
Rogan talks about it all the time on his podcast about how like he went to the doctor after he broke his orbital or whatever, and they're like, it's already healing. He's already
Yeah,
healing. We've never seen this
yeah,
before in our life. And
yeah,
that's like a famous clip going around from the Rogan show.
yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, look, I discount his age 100% because he doesn't
Same.
look
Yeah.
49. I mean, he's
Um.
probably 62 and he still looks like he's 28. You don't know his age from Cuba, right? But he's probably, probably 60, but looks like he's 29. He's ripped, shredded. The thing is he's got such a great personality. He's such a great guy. But you guys have had a little back and forth, man. He's come out and said,
Yeah.
I'm going to shut his mouth permanently. Is
Mm.
this build up or is because everyone knows Yoel Romero, man? He's a nice guy.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's like any animosity in terms. I don't think he hates me, and I've got no hatred for him. Well, obviously, he knows I've only ever respected him by saying I was scared to fight the guy. So, and I like bare knuckle. A lot of people like you guys gonna talk shit, and I was like, I don't think this is a fight with me and you all where you can talk shit. I think the fight speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes a fight doesn't need to be built because it just speaks for itself. So, we had a bit of back and forth and stuff like that. But for me, there's definitely no like disrespect or anything like that. I've spoke to Yoel actually on the Instagram DMs. He's not a bad guy. He's a nice, respectful guy, and he just wants to fight. And obviously, he's like me. So for me, I'm not. I don't go in there holding any like ill will or animosity. I just want to put on a great fight, and for me and him to just obviously for the world just do what this fight's saying for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you fought a lot of the best guys in the stand-up in terms of in MMA. You've fought my teammate Luke Rockhold, got a great finish over him. But what is different about your training now than what your training was when you were with the UFC? Because look, we've noticed, everyone has noticed, man, the change of your physique. It seems like your mindset is different. It seems like your body is different. It seems like you're more dialed in. What's changed?
I think I just come to the end with the UFC. I think I was just suffering from the end. I was just so because obviously when I tore my ACL just there before I fought Derek Brunson, and I never ever got it fixed. Like it's not fixed now, and I think I just got a bit demotivated and stuff like that. I had a great fight with Robert Whitaker, and then obviously I fought Trikas. But I think it just was like before I carry on this journey in MMA, UFC, I need to get my body right. And it sounds silly. I still haven't had the ACL to surgery done, which I'm going to be planning to get done the end of this year. But just when it's come to just pure stand up and just focusing on that and not having to do, the grappling stuff, which my knee was just that was the one bringing me down. I've just found a newfound focus and a newfound like love again for the game. I was falling out of love with it a little bit because we battered my bodies over the years so much with my last in my last team, gym. So now I'm just, I'm dialed in. Like I'm loving training, and I'm getting stronger each day. Me coach Declan now with the S&C we do and stuff like that, and just I've just come off sparring, sprints and sparring today. It just I'm fresh. I'm 33. I'm fresh. There's no reason why I don't believe in myself to go and win this bare knuckle FC belt and go and do something even in boxing, or even go back to MMA after I've had the surgery on, because I'm young. I haven't took a lot of shots to the head. My body feels revitalized again. And I've been taking care of myself in my mature years. Now, sometimes when you're younger, you don't take care of yourself as much as you should. So for me, there's a lot of years left in me to do a lot more what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I do genuinely just love fighting as well.
Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. And if you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, "Come on, Dad, keep up," you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.
I mean, you look absolutely fantastic, and that's no homo, brother. Okay, but you look good physically, you look good. The smile still looks good. Everything looks good. But I mean, how much easier? Because you hear fighters that have left MMA and they started doing some boxing, right? They go into some boxing. They're like, it's so nice to only have to train one portion of martial arts, right? I come in, I just train the boxing. I don't have to wrestle. I don't have to grapple. I don't have to do any of those things. How much has that helped you get your energy back and wanting to love the sport again?
Yeah, it has, but also what I've seen a lot of these MMA guys do as well, which is I felt like I had a little bit of an advantage here. A lot of them left MMA and just went straight to boxing without learning the logistics of boxing. Boxing as a sport is just so completely different from MMA. So I took 2 years, I took like a year and a half off just to really learn the skill of boxing. Like I was in the gym in Liverpool with like 6 world champions at the time. One of them had fought Canelo Alvarez and stuff like that. The Smith brothers once fought Berta Biev and stuff. So I was just learning and watching how they move to those MMA fighters, and I'm really learning the skill and the art of boxing to them when I would finally go into boxing. And as you say, it's one body part. They focus a lot more on running, jump rope, a lot of sparring, a lot of rounds. Whereas MMA, it's hard to fit so much all of it in. So for me, I've found new love for it. But that is also not to say, as I'm getting mature, stronger, and filling out even more into my middleweight body, let's say for MMA, there's no reason why I can't go back to MMA in 2 to 3 years once I finally get this surgery and strengthen that knee.
So you've said yourself you're enjoying the BKFC. I mean, outside of Yoel Romero, I mean, are you looking at like a Mike Perry? Are you looking at potentially find Mike Perry in somewhere else? I mean, has there been any talk about that? Because look, the biggest names you can fight outside the UFC is obviously Yoel Romero, which is what you're doing right now. But do you feel like it would be a step backwards fighting Mike Perry because he is a smaller fighter than Yoel?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think this is no disrespect, but I think Yoel's a tougher fight than Mike Perry. I really do. He's a bigger guy. His last fight, I think, so he had a fight in bare knuckle and he had his fight in Russia. I think that fight in Russia was at 96 kilos. Like Yoel Romero at 96 kilos is just a phenom. We're fighting at 86. Obviously, he's because I fought my last fight 84. I'm still an 84 kilo fighter, so obviously it's only normal. But
that's 190 pounds for all the people that live in the States.
Yeah,
190 pounds.
Yes, I don't know the pounds. So I just think, without disrespecting Mike Perry, because he is the king of Ireland, I think Yoel, for me, is a harder matchup. But that's not to say that I do think there is unfinished business with me and Mike Perry. And Mike Perry's the smaller fighter, so I would be obviously having to come down to his weight. Like, let's say, I don't know, an 80 kilos, maybe a 79, if I could stretch and make that, to obviously then fight the king of Ireland. So after I beat Yoel, I know I'm going to beat Yoel. I think that fight is on the cards, but that's not to say that I do think Yoel is the harder fighter. But I think a fight with me and Mike Perry eventually has to happen in the bare knuckle, just for the history.
Mm-hmm. Would you even entertain? Because I think also too, like with Yoel, I don't think. Would you be interested in an MMA fight with Yoel? I personally would never want to fight in MMA, but
Yeah, well, yeah.
the Mike
No,
Perry
yeah, I
fight
would.
in MMA makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, look, I think in MMA it makes a lot of sense. I think for me personally, if I was gonna go back to MMA, I'd want to do it. I'd want to like speak to Dana. If Dana would speak to me, I want to do it back inside the UFC and have one last hurrah. See what I can do with myself. You know, if I've still got it or not. You know, if I can evolve my skills even more. You know, get strong in the body, the mind. That's where I'd want to do that. You know, I'm not saying no if some Russian organisation or, you know, the PFL have signed with MVP now, they've collaborated. Me and Yoel could do that. Yeah, definitely. But that's how I'd see it going if it was to go back MMA. I don't think Yoel's ever going to go back to the UFC. Well, I'm not sure of it. But that's how I would see things, to be totally honest with you, Josh.
How's your relationship with Dana and the UFC? You guys still good? Like, is it something you could potentially run back, like not run back to, but go back to? There's
Yeah,
conversation
for
every once in a
me,
while.
you know, I've spoke a little bit of shit about UFC as we all do, but I left on good terms with Dana and Hunter. Like they let me out my contract fairly easily because I told them, I just said, look, guys, I said my body's not right, my mind's not right. I've lost a little bit of love for the sport. Do you mind if you give me a year and a half and I'll go off somewhere? I won't disrespect you guys and go to another MMA organization. And they were completely cool with that, which sometimes I feel like they haven't been cool with other guys when it comes to contracts. So I'm grateful that they were very cool with that with me as well.
Yeah, we saw something like that with Jorge Masvidal. You know, he left.
Yeah,
He's still under contract with them. He's doing a podcast now on Mondays with, you know, Chris Wyman and the boys and Dustin Poirier and those guys. You can see, and then he's also been opening the door to returning back to the UFC, and they have a relationship with him. I could see that
yeah,
happening for you. You're great for the sport. I mean, like, I've been a big
yeah,
fan. I'm not just
yeah,
stroking you because you're here on the show. I'm just being
yeah.
honest, man. I love the energy you bring. I love what you talk about. Love how you call people out. I love all that. But you bring the energy. But so you are opening the door to a possible MMA return.
Do you know 1 year ago? No, but you know, since I speak to people, even like yourself, who so experienced in the game, stuff like that, I feel if I got my mind and especially my body right, and you know, if I go on all these big wins and obviously make a lot of money for myself as well, I just don't see why I can't come back. I haven't took a lot of punishment in terms of like, you know, guys have these wars over 10 years, you know, like Max Holloway's. I haven't had necessarily that. My striking hasn't always been have a war, it's always been calculated and stuff. So I just don't see why I can't come back and make another little dent in this. But you know, you see another guy from the same city as me, Paddy. Look at the waves he's making. You know, he's got that. You know, he's got that energy. He's a good fighter. Clearly, you know, he looks different. You know, he brings more eyes to the sport, just like Conor did all them years ago. And same for Habib and these guys. So I just don't see why I can't be another one of these guys. And if I wanted to, in like let's say a year or two, do it because I still feel young and fresh.
Does it surprise you that Paddy's getting the pop that he's getting? Because you saw him when he fought on the Conor card, right? He got the biggest pop when they showed pictures of him up and Conor up. He got the biggest pop when the camera went to him. He's got something special. Can you explain it? Because you're from that area, so you kind of can see it. But what is it that he has?
He's just apart from even he looks different. I know the hair and stuff like that. He's just got this like thing that we're all drawn to. Same as when I was there and these other guys. Like he's just got it. And sometimes it's one of these things. Whether you love him or you hate him, you're gonna tune in and you're gonna talk about him. And that's what it's essentially about. Especially now, you know nowadays, just even when you were fighting years ago, there was no podcast or social media. It
No.
was, you know,
Yeah.
so. I just think he's got that what people want today, especially on social media. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of opened the door because the way you talk and the way he talks, kind of you opened the door a little bit for him.
Yeah,
And then he just jumped right through it, man.
yeah, we talk differently. Like it's crazy the way we talk. It's I don't know why we talk like this as well.
I fucking love it though. I fucking love it because I mean, obviously from the States, right? I feel like when you guys even say something nice about us, it sounds like you're shit talking us. And I enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's the best
I've
part,
heard that
man.
one before. I've heard that before, yeah.
Would you okay, so look, let's just say the UFC is like, yeah, we want you back. You know, what are the guys that you're looking at right now that are kind of in your weight class? I would assume 85 is what you would go back to, correct?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 85-pound division. I mean, are there guys in there you're like, damn, that guy kind of would motivate me a little bit? I would be interested in fighting him. I mean, let's just work your way. Let's go with simple. What about a Bo Nickal fight?
Yeah, 100%.
A big time guy, right?
Yeah, look, and I've got a huge amount of respect for Bo, especially his wrestling credentials. I think me and him, we've had a back and forth as well. We could definitely, we could even easily headline a fight night if I was to come back. And look, this is not me jumping the gun, because I say it respectfully as well. I'm not just going to call these people out who definitely don't deserve to fight. But I know me and Sean Strickland, the striker match, I know that would be a great fight. I know that deep down. So, you know, you've got to think big in this life as well, haven't you? So why not? But, you know, that's not me overstepping my mark. There would have to be a lot of fights. I'd have to make my name again and really prove myself, which, you know, you've got to do against these guys. You can't go out there disrespecting this whole UFC roster now, and the sport's changed. But I don't see why in 2 years, Josh, I can't be back there. I'm already getting the buzz, actually, speaking to you, which is mad.
Let's just say, okay, we get it. I was saying Imavov to me is a good fight for you. He likes to stand, he likes to strike. Wrestling's okay, not great. I like that fight, and I like the Joe Pyfer fight. Like, if we're talking fights that excite you, right? That might get you going. Guys that are willing to stand.
Two massive fights that excite me already as well. Like Imavov, to be totally honest with you, I've been watching him a long time as well. I watch him his training with Cyril Gann and stuff like that. So that's a fight already. Just even speaking to you, I haven't spoke about this with no one else. That excites me massively as well.
What about any fights outside? Let's just say the UFC is like, hey man, we're gonna pass on this. You know, like it's been too many years, whatever it is. Where would you go outside if MVP Scott Coker's got a new promotion?
I really like the look. I don't think obviously what Jake Paul's doing, it's commendable, but I don't think the MVP PFL deal is gonna ever match the UFC right now. But I do like the collaboration, and some of the fights I've seen on there, especially when they were doing the $1 million tournament. I really like a lot of fighters inside that organization. If they were to come, look, it's not that I'd say no, and I know they pay the fighters well and stuff like that. So it would be one of them for me, like a why not? Like I would definitely do it.
Opponent though, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, Mike Perry, those three guys right there.
I think look, I think this is not disrespect, because you see Nate Diaz, he's around, you know, your era and stuff like that, and just a bit before man after me. I just don't, other than it being a boxing fight, to be more of a prize fighter fighter, I don't think Nate Diaz should fight MMA no more. I think it's past that. I think he doesn't take it as serious. I think it's in it for the money. So for me, there wouldn't be any out of that. If I was to go back, I would go back properly to try and beat some of these top guys who are also, you know, like young now, fresh-faced and stuff like that, especially in the PFL. Have a lot of, you know, the PFL have a lot of high-level Russian guys in there now. I watched them just recently here in Dubai, and some of them are so impressive and so young as well. You know, you're talking 20, 21. So that would be who I would go for. And look, you just go for it. You win or lose, you just go for them guys, isn't it?
Well, the guys in your weight class in the PFL, I just call it the MVP now because of the takeover, but it's basically like your Costello Van Steenis was the champion. You got Johnny Eblin. Those two guys right there, to me, warrant like that. Though that you'd be a great addition to them. 100%. Look, it doesn't matter to me where you go, because I think we get some great fights out of you as always. Yeah. But man, 100%. I wish you nothing but the best. September 26th in Manchester, BKFC. My man, I appreciate you joining. Like I said, I got to get you on for longer than this 15 minutes.
100%. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Josh.
I appreciate you, brother, man. Until next time.
Bye, brother. Thank you.